Folks, welcome to this week's Current Events and Bible Study. We're glad you're with us. We're going to do something today we've never done before on the air. We're going to do communion with you. And I don't generally do that because to me communion is a private session between members of a body. But we're going to do that today because people ask us to do it. It's nothing we do anything probably what you do. But if you want to join us today in communion, get you a piece of unleavened bread and some grape juice, and you join us for communion. We'll do that after this first half hour of the teaching part of the series today. We're going to start as always in current events like we always do. I'll read a few verses to you out of the book of Psalms that I think you'll find very interesting, and that kind of ties into today's current events. The longer I live, the more I understand, the more I see, the more amazed I am at the stiff-necked hard-heartedness of people and their great desire to sin and to break God's laws. Mm-hmm. There is very little conscience left in this country, Phil, as far as the nation. There is just very little conscience left. I mean, we see abominations taking place every day, and from the world standpoint and the media standpoint, they're raised up like they're little gods themselves, are they not? We have a blatantly homosexual pervert running for president now, and he introduced his partner as his husband, and he's getting people excited about this. We are seeing a rebellion in this nation. I'm sure the world, but I can't speak for the world. I don't live in Russia. I don't live in China. I live here, and we're seeing the hardened hearts of people getting more reprobate day by day, and that's prophecy, is it not?
Yes.
Did he not say, I'll give them to reprobate mind, and I'll harden their hearts? And then what he said, your hardened hearts, you said in Romans 2, said your hearts being darkened. Mm-hmm. This is where we are, and I'm not saying that to discourage you, but I'm just telling you, look up, because you're seeing what our Savior told us would happen. But on the day of all days, as we do Passover too, or do communion, remember we do this in remembrance of Passover. We do that second half hour because today literally is the day of Passover. Some 2,000 years ago, our Savior died on the cross on the day of Passover to become our sacrificial lamb. We have so much to be thankful for, and I know for a fact that nobody in here would ever say that we deserve what Christ did. Would we?
No.
So, but I just wanted to make a point as we go through the current events that we see some rays of hope coming through, some rays of light coming through in some areas and some places, and praise God for those little rays of light that let us know there's some people out there that still care for what's right.
Amen.
You know, the confusion in the world is not because the world become dark, it's because the church become dark with it.
Yeah. Amen.
That's all I can say. But let's move on to Psalm chapter 2. Read some verses there. Read verse 1. Why do the heathen rage, and the people imagine a vain thing? I mean, why do they rage? Why do we get up and say we become our own gods? I mean, what is it about people that say we don't care what God says, we don't want to hear about God, we don't want to hear about your morals, how dare you even mention this to us, we don't care. Isn't that what they say to us? Mm-hmm. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against His anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away the cords from us. We don't want to hear about God's laws. We don't want to hear about God's standards. We don't want to hear from the church. We don't want to hear you preach against us because you make us angry. And if you want to know how evil, that we'll call it the left, is, you speak against them and they will attack you, and sometimes literally attack you. Mm-hmm. I mean, well, I'm not in favor. Vice President Pence is said to be a Christian. Do you know he was literally ran out of a restaurant the other day by people yelling at him? Did y'all know that? Mm-hmm. And the press secretary, what's her name? Sanders?
Yeah.
Well, was ran out of a restaurant because we didn't eat, and the people run around because they don't like Trump and they don't like what she stands for. So, folks, understand that they hate any reproof against their evil. When your mind become perverted, when your conscience becomes seared, you don't want corrected. It makes you angry. You don't want to hear the truth. Even though you offer with kindness and love, they don't want proof. They don't want to hear it. They hate that.
And besides that, they hate us with cruelty.
Oh, yes, very much. Yeah, very much. But verse 4 says, he that sits in heaven shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Wow. Now let's drop on down to verse 10. Be wise now, therefore, you kings. Be instructed, you judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and you perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are they that put their trust in him. And if there's any good in me, if there's any hope in any of us, it's not in us personally, it's in Christ. How many ever sometimes sit down and think about your family and kind of shed tears because you want to help them so much, but they refuse reproof, they refuse love? Anybody besides me ever have tears come to your eyes? Mm-hmm. I mean, you want so much to reach out to them, and you want to tell them about Christ. The home I live in, where Marcia and I live right now, not the house, but the home. The house is the house, the home is the home. Big difference. Mm-hmm. The big difference. Is blessed in a lot of ways, not because Butch Paul is a good man or Marcia Paul is a good lady, but because Christ is still the head of that house.
Christ, amen.
And I make lots of mistakes. You make mistakes, Steve?
Every day.
I'm glad to hear that. But really and truly, I mean, people, a gentleman the other day come over by and was talking to us. He said, you and Marcia always seem, come in the house, you feel peace and love. I said, well, it's not necessarily us, it's Christ in us. You know, yeah, we have arguments. Marcia can be awful hard-headed sometimes. We, not me, now you understand. But of course, we have high-volume discussions. But the house, by God's grace, I've always tried to keep it centered on His Word and His will. And the home is still intact because of that. Not because of me, but because of Christ. A nation is intact that follows Christ. A nation that doesn't goes into derision. And is our nation derision or not? Have you ever seen so much division in your life in a country? You know, in order to maintain a society, you have to have at least some common goal in the culture, don't you? Yeah. Don't you? When you lose that common goal in the cultures of keeping some morality and some semblance of normality in that culture, and you lose that, you have utter chaos. Yes, Bill?
Well, it says to try to get along if you can.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it's that polarized, you can't get along. That's the problem.
Isn't that what the enemy wants? Didn't Christ say if a house divided will come to destruction? Yes. Didn't Christ say that? A nation divided among its peoples goes into chaos and it becomes chaotic and it crumbles from the inside out. You know, I'm starting to preach and I'm going to turn the bench yet. But every civilization in the history of the world, every empire, I should say, and we become an empire, Rome, Greece, all the empires of the world crumbled from the inside out. Rome became a multicultural society. Any religion's okay. Just bow to Caesar once a year. And you can do anything you want to do as far as religions go. And Rome crumbled because of divisions in the Senate and in the House and the people. Rome had a Senate just like we do. But the nation crumbled because of factions in the people that caused the nation to become weakened. And the enemy from the outside come and conquer. Guess what's going to happen to America?
There's nothing,
China's coming to us.
nothing new under the sun.
No, there isn't.
Nothing new.
But we never learn.
No.
America become haughty and high and stiff-necked and thought that because we were America, we can't be touched. We're the greatest land in the world. And maybe at one time we could say that. Because people literally looked at America and respected America. They loved America. They want to come to America, not for welfare, but they want to come and have a chance to live free. That's been going for a long time. We're not a laughing stock world. I heard a guy on the radio last night, I can't remember where he's from, said people, we're watching America from the States, he called them, from here, and we're laughing at them. The United States is a laughing stock of the world as far as anything way of normalcy or culture working together in one mind trying to accomplish something. We can't even do it at the state level, much less a nation level. And the simple thing is this. The salt has left society because the church lost its saltiness.
Lost its taste.
said, less people go to church now than what there was years past.
Oh yeah, I'll be covering no bit.
Worthless and to be trampled
Under the
underfoot.
feet of men. And are we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Muslims are more righteous than we
There
are.
was a time when politicians feared the church. Really, they respected the church not to fear it.
Yeah.
There was a time. Now they laugh at us, and why shouldn't they?
They have every right.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's get into some current events.
The
In a
church
way,
got
it's,
dark long before society did.
do I know?
The church got dark long before society.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there's a poem I read one time, the church holding the world's hand. For a while, she refused to do so, but after a while, it crept right on in. Georgia governor will sign an abortion ban despite Hollywood outcry. We value life in our state. Now, this is some good news. We value life in our state, the Republican told WSB Scott Slade on Atlanta's Morning News. Governor Kemp, further stated he is not concerned about the threatened boycott of Georgia by Hollywood personalities. I don't believe there will be dire consequences for supporting life in our state. Actress Melissa Milano has been leading the boycott charge. She stars in the Netflix dark comedy Insatiable, which films in Atlanta. We're going to do everything in our power to move our industry to a safer state for women if HB 41 becomes law. Kemp, who was elected in November, said he will stay true to what he told Georgia's voters he would do. I can't govern because I'm worried about what someone in Hollywood thinks about me. I like that.
Amen.
I like that.
What state was it? There was a governor, Fop James. Was that the same state?
They wasn't there?
Fop James.
I don't know.
Or James.
This is Kemp. I don't know. His name is Kemp.
Yeah, but there's some good people down there in Atlanta, in Georgia and Alabama.
Oh, yeah. Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky, Iowa. I know at least 5 now have passed the heartbeat bill. But federal judges overruled it in Kentucky and Iowa. Said you can't do it. Now that is totally unconstitutional.
That's right.
And the states don't have to obey that. But the lady, the governor in Iowa was a lady, she said she's not going to fight it. But the governor in Kentucky said we're not going to pay attention to that law. You see, if you don't know what the contract says, the Constitution talks about, and the 10th Amendment says that the federal government has no authority inside the states. None. They have no authority in your front door. They have no authority anywhere outside federal properties in Washington, D.C., 10 square mile area, or on properties ceded by the states, like post office or forts, for them to have. Other than that, they have no authority. Congress cannot pass laws that bind the states. Am I telling the truth?
And the states came before the federal
The
government.
state created the federal government.
Exactly.
So, but Congress has no authority passing laws for national laws. They cannot do that lawfully, but they do it. You know why they do it? Because we take their money.
The state flag should fly above the federal flag.
I agree.
They do it because they can. It's because they can do it.
I mean, we take their money. So as long as they feed us, they're going to rule us. Is that not right?
Right.
Well, let's move on to the week magazine here. Only America. Pennsylvania's Dickinson College has removed wall signs encouraging students to take the stairs and become fit after accusations of fat shaming.
Bad what?
Fat shaming. One student said the sign made her feel guilty every time that I took the elevator. Another said that by glorifying weight loss, the signs feed into eating disorders.
Oh my God.
Only in America, some cannabis growers in California are paying Jewish rabbis to certify their products as kosher. Because the federal government still considers marijuana illegal, growers cannot apply for labels such as organic or GMO free. That's why growers are asking for a kosher certification from rabbinical authorities, said Josh Drayton of the California Cannabis Industry Association. Folks deserve to know that what they're consuming is healthy. Oh my. Bad week for Alaska after warm temperatures began thawing an estimated 66 tons of frozen human feces left by mountaineers on Denali, North America's highest mountain. We expect it to still smell bad and look bad, said a spokesman for the National Park Service. Who would have thought that many people climbed the mountain and had that much?
Maybe they should take porta potties with them.
I mean, who would have thought that?
Well, did you know Mount Everest? There are, I forget how many bodies are up there. They can't move them out.
They're froze to the...
No, they can't. It would be too hard to carry.
Oh,
them
okay,
out.
got
They
you.
can't get
Okay.
you can't take a helicopter up there.
I
so
got you,
They're
yes.
basically frozen permanently.
About 70% of U.S. produce has pesticide residue even after being washed, a new study for the Environmental Working Group found. Strawberries, spinach, and kale, and the highest levels of pesticides, the advocacy group says. You know, if you can buy organic, buy organic.
A lot of the pesticides
Grow
are
your
in
own.
the seed.
Exactly.
Had a land to do it.
Right in the seed.
Carl Sagan said, if you wish to make an apple pie from scratch, you must first invent the universe. That's good.
That's right.
That's good. I like that.
Who was that? Who said that? Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan, yeah.
Oh, he was an atheist, but that's a good statement.
Yeah, he was an atheist.
Yeah.
Only in America, an Alabama lawmaker is pushing back against plans to arm teachers with guns on the grounds that most teachers are women. Now, wouldn't that be
Doesn't matter, okay?
sexist?
That's, yeah.
I mean, think about that. Wouldn't that why ain't women screaming out about that?
They should be.
State Rep. Harry Shriver concedes that most of his fellow Republicans want to put guns in schools to defend against mass shooters. That said that most women are scared of guns and wouldn't like to be put in that position. That'd be their choice,
Yeah.
but that's still a woman. I don't know why a woman can't defend themselves.
And the women that are afraid of guns, give them empty ones.
There you go. Make them look mean.
Put plastic bullets in them.
Bad week for impatient groundkeeping after parents and players in Ridgefield, Connecticut tried to dry a wet high school baseball field before a game by dousing with gasoline and setting it on fire.
No,
Oh
that
my
was smart.
golly.
A hazardous waste firm had to dig up 6 inches of contaminated dirt for the stump, with which a town official said was not a very good idea. No duh. In Salt Lake City, the Mormons have finally decided to allow homosexuals in the church and to become part of the church.
Oh, my.
I mean, I don't want to say. I mean, I don't
Two
even-
strikes.
2 strikes. 2 Arkansas men escaped serious injury after taking turns shooting each other while wearing a bullet-resistant vest. Police said. Now, think about this. Charles Eugene Ferris, 50, and Christopher Hicks, 36, both of Rogers, Arkansas, allegedly decided to test their body armor after a day of drinking. First, Hicks shot Ferris once in the chest with a .22 caliber semi-automatic rifle. Then, angered by the pain, the Ferris pumped the clip's remaining 5 rounds into his neighbor's back. Both men now face charges, and the heir of their neighbors. There has to be something done about it. Well, I said, "Well, I have 3 kids."
That takes trading punches to a new level.
Really?
Some economic news, because this, you know, we look at this and think, well, what's this do at the church? How many of y'all have to pay bills?
A few.
I mean, we all have to make some money to do something with, don't we? Either we earn it or somebody gives it to us. We got to have it, right?
Right.
In 2018, a total of I'll find the right number here. Where is it? Where is okay? A total of 5,864 retail stores are shut in 2018. This year already, we're in April, almost 5,994 more have shut. That's over 100 per state shutting their doors already in 2019. Now, I don't know how many people work at these stores, but if they just had 20 employees each, well, that time 6,000, actually 10,000 of them to go through together, that's a lot of people to work in it.
But Dollar General is opening.
They're opening stores, yes. So, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, almost 6,000 stores have shut in less than 3 months this year.
Jeff Bezos.
Wow. Now, this is a sad little story. A dairy farmer named Mark Berg in Minnesota. So Mark Berg, 26, posted an emotional 6-minute long video. If you watch, it'll break your heart. Viewed more than 300,000 times, voicing his frustration over the strain of running a dairy farm. The young farmer, brushing back tears, talks about his father telling him that he has less than when he started the business 40 years ago. Highlighting the desperation that may appears in the dairy industry field, Berg says he knows of farmers who have committed suicide. And during this conversation, he said, "My dad and I are fighting more than ever have. Didn't used to fight. Now it's stress." Minnesota saw the median income of a dairy farm drop from $43,000 a year to less than $15,000 a year. Now stop and think about this. A farmer works 7 days a week. Cows don't make themselves on Sunday or Saturday, do they?
Right.
It's all day long, seven days a week, and $43,000 a year is not a fortune anymore. It isn't. But to go from $43,000 to $15,000, and they're having to sell cows just to pay their bills. Yes, Phil.
Yeah, that really goes back on the churches and the Christians not doing the right thing. I was listening to a talk show that I recorded while I was traveling on the road, which I keep my mind occupied. And he was saying that, Amazon is putting a lot of businesses out, they're going under. And a lot of it's because of Amazon.
Yeah.
But people will say, but it's cheaper there and it's more convenient.
Yep.
So, so what do you want? Do you want convenience and cheap? Or do you want a healthy, vibrant country?
Yeah, exactly. Well, why do we have cell phones and why are people getting chipped? Convenience. And to show you how outlandish it is in some areas, in San Francisco, a $300,000 a year job will just barely get you by. I'm serious. I'm going to read some of the cost here to you. Just for example, the mortgage, the average mortgage, average price of food for three in San Francisco is $25,200 a year. Mortgage average is $46,800 a year. Property tax is at $19,200 a year. And going down the whole list of things here, gasoline out here is really expensive. I mean,
It's over $4
yes.
a gallon.
Yeah.
And Alan Greenspan warned. You remember Alan Greenspan?
Yeah.
He said-
Green scams.
Green scam. He said the economy of America is going to be very dramatically affected in the near future in this country. So, and the reason I cover that is I live here, and I got to eat here. My children live here and got to eat here. Yeah, Phil.
When he was doing his undergraduate work, his dissertation was on the importance of gold as backing the economy.
Yes, he did.
That was Greenspan.
Yes.
That's what he was fan. Now he's scam.
And he believed in gold. He did. Do you remember this picture I gave you all of the Commerce magazine and newsletter one time of the Phoenix rising out of the monies of the world and money's on fire and the Phoenix rising out of it. It has around his neck. It has a I can't remember the name of the dollar on there around his neck. Gosh, I can't read it now. But anyway, it has it says 2018 on the coin, $10 whatever the denomination is. It begins, former UN Undersecretary General calls for one world currency. This year, the world commemorates an anniversary of two key events in the development of a global monetary system. The first is the creation of the International Monetary Fund at the Bretton Woods Conference 75 years ago. The second is the advent 50 years ago of the spatial drawing right, the IMF's global reserve asset. Said when it introduced the SDR, the fund hoped to make it the principal reserve asset in the international monetary system. This remains an unfulfilled ambition. Instead, the SDR is one of the most underused instruments of international cooperation. Nonetheless, better late than never, turning the SDR into a true global currency will yield several benefits to the world's economy and monetary system. So it's going to make it all convenient. When you buy something out of Canada or out of Russia, it's all the same price everywhere worldwide. Wouldn't that be convenient? When you ship things overseas, and one costs you more or less. Well, this is what it's all about. We are getting close to the one world economy. We almost are there now. You know, if America goes under, it's going to affect a lot of nations. Y'all realize that? It's Bible, Revelation 18. But if Europe goes under, it's going to affect America. We're already in a world economy. We one time in America, and I remember this. I was old enough to remember that in the 1950s we fed ourselves. Mm-hmm. Farmers exported food. Mm-hmm. They did. They made enough food to feed us and a lot of the world. Today we import food, and farmers are going under. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Believe it or not, lettuce doesn't grow in Kroger's.
And the government's not supposed to be responsible to feed us. It's the farmer's responsibility.
And in Georgetown University, where is Georgetown? I forgot to get that. Anyway, the students have voted to increase their tuition to pay for slavery reparations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pay for what?
Slavery reparations. We're all guilty of slavery, so we got to pay back some.
Yeah.
Well, they can pay my share too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is where we are. It's so ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
But
Why can't you help the Indians if we're
but,
going to do that?
Yeah.
like in my case, my ancestors, my great-great-grandparents came here in the 1890s. Why would we be still held accountable for that?
I don't know, but
There you go,
because we're
once
white.
again. Yeah.
You know that now they're wanting to tear down the statue of Thomas Jefferson. I'm serious.
Yeah, slaveholder.
As weather breaks, violence returns. 24 shot in 30 hours over the warmest weekend this year. This is Chicago. I've got to ask you a question, though. This doesn't make any sense. This really can't be. There's no guns allowed in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So how people get shot? Steve, how's somebody get shot in Chicago? There's no guns in Chicago. Go figure.
Criminals.
Yeah, I mean,
Someone didn't read the sign.
I guess.
Yeah,
I can't believe that. I mean, people getting shot where there's no guns allowed.
they probably dropped out of school and couldn't read the sign.
That's what it was. I'm sure. I'm sure they didn't mean to break the law.
And
No.
no guns allowed. They're probably Mexican anyway, and they couldn't read English.
You're probably right. The Border Patrol was getting so overwhelmed with illegals coming across seeking asylum. It was on like 10,000 more a month. They started busing them into Las Cruces, New Mexico, and just dropping them off and turning them over to churches to take care of. And here's a line of them going in to get into the place where they're staying. Now, I want you to look at the picture. Look at the picture, and tell me what's missing.
Girls.
Girls.
Yeah.
There are no women there. They're all fighting age men with a few children. Where are their mommies? Think about it.
You ever heard of the Trojan horse?
Oh, yes. Think about that. That's highly unusual. We got at least 20, 25 people showed in there and not one lady in the bunch.
Well, they're not coming here for freedom, they're coming here for benefits.
They are. They're coming here for that. They're coming here to live off us, and then one day, whenever the time is right, move in.
There's also South Africans crossing the border to Mexico.
Oh yeah,
That's
Chinese
how-
also.
That's how I got that website, King's Resettlement.
Okay.
You seen
Okay.
that?
Yeah, I saw they sent to me. I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Secret document reveals plans for civil war in Lebanon, Israeli false flags and invasion. America and Israel are just like that, and both of them totally evil.
Yes.
During his visit with U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, Lebanese President Michael Aoun reported in that received a U.S.-Israeli document detailing plans for creating a civil war in Lebanon with covert false flag operations and possible Israeli invasion. Would they do that here? Would they do false flags in America? No, would they? Although the source of the document in Israel is Israeli and created in partnership with Washington, no one knows who presented it to Aoun. The Lebanese TV station Al Jihad initially reported the document on Lebanese TV and a video on the website. Geopolitics Alert translated the report for this article. The document details American plans to splinter the Lebanese Internal Security Forces, a domestic institution separate from the Lebanese army. The plans involve Washington investing $200 million into the Internal Security Forces under the guise of keeping the peace, with the covert goal of creating sectarian conflict against Hezbollah, with $2.5 million specifically dedicated to this purpose. The document states that the ultimate goal is to destabilize the country by creating a civil war in Lebanon, which will help Israel on the international scene. The United States and Israel plan to accomplish this by supporting democratic forces, sounding remarkably similar to the same strategy used in Syria, Libya, Venezuela, and elsewhere. Yes, Bill.
Just a point, it's important to note that there's a difference between the good people in a country and the government of that
Absolutely,
country.
absolutely.
And, you know, a lot of people, they lump it all together. You can't.
No.
You know, we're not a part, we don't want to be a part of this one world system.
And if people would stand up and make them do different, we could, if they do it. You know, when the bull's right down to it, if the power is given to the people and people allow it, you know what I'm saying? And we all know Trump said he's going to end a bunch of wars. Well, Trump just vetoed a measure to get the troops out of Yemen.
Give
Yeah.
aid to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. I mean, he was going to end some of these wars, remember? He's going to bring them out of Syria. Remember that? Promised.
I just called up Joe Manchin in the Capitol, told him override.
Yeah, absolutely do that. And this to show you how bad it's getting. How many of y'all think Pelosi is a middle of the road politician?
No.
She's over the hill.
No one.
Yes.
Liberals are mad at Pelosi because she's not standing strong enough against Trump.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I mean, how much more liberal can you get than Pelosi?
There ain't no way.
She just has a little bit more common sense than the progressives. A little bit.
The far left's frustration with the House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is on the rise as liberal advocates and lawmakers fume that she hasn't done enough to defend freshman Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota from attacks by President Donald Trump and other Republicans and undermine their policies and leaders, according to Alexander Ocasio-Cortez in New York. So when Pelosi becomes middle of the road, folks, you know we're in bad shape.
Well, if you saw her take the gavel, she acted like she had the Holy Grail in her hand. When she
Oh
got the
yeah,
gavel.
yeah.
So that's when she, she changed.
Oh, she did.
She's power hungry.
Well, we could always have Cortez,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
I'm looking forward to riding that train across the land coaching.
This is in Haymarket, Virginia. You know, Virginia I always thought was a rather conservative state, but it sure is changing fast. Cops promise to rob or arrest citizens unless they buy a random sticker. And I'll not make this no joke. This sticker serves no purpose other than the city says put it on. A police department in Virginia is now forcing citizens to buy random stickers for their vehicles or face further extortion or jail. Common sense among those who work inside the state is a rare commodity. Agents of the state, like those who work in law enforcement, often become so blinded to reality by just doing my job they throw logic and reason to the wayside, choosing authority and force instead. Nothing highlights this blind order of following quite like the Haymarket Police Department in Virginia is forcing the requirement for citizens to purchase a $15 sticker for the vehicle and promising to steal the money if they do not comply. The vehicle stickers are part of a new extortion program rolled out by the county officials in Haymarket. The sticker is not an inspection sticker to prove that your lights and hoard work. It's entirely arbitrary and designed solely for revenue collection purposes only.
It's a tax.
Another sticker.
It's an existence tax.
Yeah, in order you just gotta have a sticker just so to pay the tax, just so you can have
And
the
law
sticker.
enforcement don't apply common sense to laws, that's tyranny.
That's right. Well, but they're still on the job. Just doing. How many's ever heard a cop tell you that? I mean,
That's
I've had
tyranny.
cops tell me that.
Yeah, me too.
Had a cop
Well, I've been
tell
on
me.
the NRA. That ain't got nothing to do with it.
I've had cops tell me that otherwise they're decent guys. See, if they outlaw guns, we'll enforce them.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
But anyway, Chinese sanitation workers are being forced to wear location tracking bracelets. Now, you say, well, that's in China. It doesn't affect me. We'll get to us in a minute. Walmart has devices in their trucks to track the truck drivers. There's a camera in their face all the time. Y'all know that?
Yeah.
They have live stream from the drivers all the time when they're driving.
UPS is close to it, if not
Yeah,
there.
FedEx is too.
I was going to make it that next. UPS is so close to it they're not allowed to back trucks up very far. They can't. I'm serious. And come down my road. You either got to back up coming in or back around. But they're not supposed to back up.
FedEx, or not FedEx, but UPS, they can't stay in there and visit.
No, they're timed.
They
They're
got to keep on
timed.
the road.
They're timed. But yeah, Walmart, and I know that because Crystal works in my office. Y'all know her, and her husband drives truck for a living. And he was Walmart offering a job. He said, "I don't want the job because they got the cameras in your face all the time. You're always on camera."
Here's
But China, they're going to make them wear tracking bracelets to know where they are and how long it takes per stop. What are you going to say, Joe?
the guy that I work with, he got caught on a DUI, and he's got to have a camera in his van, and he's got a little device he has to blow it in order to even get his van to start. They just did an upgrade, and he was telling me that the new camera they put in there, not just for looking at him to make sure he's the driver, but it has full view of the van, of every occupant of the van.
Let's put cameras on them.
There you go. Creepy AI monitoring UK employees' work task in real time. Of 130,000 people in the UK and abroad are being monitored by artificial intelligence system known as Isaac, which scrutinizes staff behavior minute to minute, according to The Guardian. Now, folks, this is going worldwide. That makes a point. The point is, this is not going to just be local. The mark of the beast will be worldwide.
Yes.
There'll be no place to get away from it. Dozens of the UK businesses are using the Isaac system, which analyzes tasks such as who's email who, and when. and how workers are collaborating, and which staff are influencers or change makers, according to the report. Designed by the London-based company Status Today, the system can pinpoint certain individuals within a network to better allocate workloads and responsibilities, ultimately improving the overall workplace environment and producing stress and overworking. Thus far, Isaac has gathered data on more than 1 billion actions. A computer can compare activity data with qualitative assessments of workers from a personal files or sales performance figures to give managers a detailed picture of how behavior affects output. Users so far include 5 law firms, a training company called Smarter Not Harder, and a London estate agency. J. Brown, according to Status Today, which promises real-time insights into each employee and their position within the organizational network. Workers do not automatically have the right to see the data, which is controlled by the employer. We're getting there.
Where?
Yeah. IBM AI knows when people will quit their job within 95% accuracy. Speaking at the Work Talent and Human Resource Summit in New York, Romedy described how the company's predictive attrition software reportedly saved the company $300 million by identifying which of its roughly 350,000 workers are on the cusp of quitting. The way the system works is a trade secret. However, in 2016 blog post described how IBM used their Watson Analytics Smart Data program for employee retention. The best time to get to an employee is before they go, she said. IBM HR has a patent for its predictive attrition program, which was developed with Watson to predict employee flight risk and prescribe actions for managers to engage employees. Remedy would not explain the secret sauce that allowed the AI to work so effectively in identifying workers about the jump. But official IBM said the predictions are now in a 95% accuracy range. Remedy would only say that success comes through analyzing many data points. They can read your mind, almost. It's amazing.
I think they're stretching a little bit, but I think we ought to rename District of Columbia to DAI, District of Artificial Intelligence.
Well, some places, maybe in this report, some places are asking for AI to make the laws now.
China.
I'm serious.
They already are.
Oh, yeah.
Artificial intelligence.
Your car is watching you. Who owns the data? Computers on wheels raise thorny questions about data privacy. I've been saying this for years. Your car is a computer.
Yep.
It is. It's a computer. The European Union has already ruled that data generated by cars belongs to their owners. Above vehicles across the Australian-German border in 2016, where I showed picture cars. If you're driving a late model car or truck, chances are that the vehicle is mostly computers on wheels. They're collecting and wirelessly transmitting vast quantities of data to the car manufacturer, not just on vehicle performance, but personal information too, such as your weight, the restaurant you visit, your music taste, and places to go.
Nice.
Well, we're all being judged by a secret trustworthiness score. Nearly everything we buy, how we buy, and where we're buying them from is secretly fed into AI-powered verification services that help companies guard against credit card and other forms of fraud, according to the Wall Street Journal. More than 16,000 signals are analyzed by a service called SIFT, which generates a SIFT score ranging from 1 to 100. The score uses 2 flag devices. Get those words you're using. 2 flag devices, credit cards, and accounts that a vendor may want to block based on a person's or entity's overall trustworthiness score, according to a company spokeswoman. From the SIFT website, each time we get an event, be it a page view on an API event, we extract features related to those events and compute the SIFT score. These features are then weighed based on fraud we've seen both on your site and within our global network, and determine a user score. There are features that can negatively impact the score as well as ones which have a positive impact. Folks, we're heading down the line. Remember Chinese and their social score? We're having it here now. California scientists develop a cow-free dairy milk from GMO yeast and 3D printed milk proteins.
It's,
Oh, yeah.
3D printed?
Yep. Do I really want to ingest printed milk? Can you say Frankenfood? Sure you can. The whole idea of food coming out of a lab or from a printer is beyond my comprehension and way beyond anything I want to be willing to accept as normal. More evidence of these satanic globalists playing God. If you read the title and thought to yourself, what the actual, you aren't alone, I was just as shocked. We already shared with you the tab created meat coming from a store soon near you soon. And of course, this likely didn't shock anyone because over the last couple of years, all sorts of lab-created GM things and insects have been introduced in the food chain: corn, soy, potatoes, and even GM salmon. But now in Berkeley, California is taking things a step further, announcing plans to disrupt the dairy industry with a new product made from 3D printed milk proteins as part of a process that prominently involves GMO yeast. So they want to disrupt the dairy process. It's cruel to milk cows. That's what the whole idea about it. Bernie Sanders says he wants to support abortion up to birth because it's a rare thing. It doesn't happen very often.
really,
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a rare thing.
it's a rare thing.
Doesn't happen very often. We can do it. Satanic Temple challenges Missouri abortion law that forces women to wait 3 days. Now, why would Satanists get involved in this? Who gets glory out of murdering babies?
It's a sacrifice.
Satan does. Satan doesn't gain power; he gains influence, right, Joe?
Definitely.
I mean, what was that?
Brake sliding.
Oh, okay. But Satan gets a.
High.
You know, I guess. I mean, the more innocent the victim, the greater the sacrifices to Satan.
It's worshiping.
It is worshiping, but Satanic Temple is getting us upset because Missouri says after they have to watch a video before they murder the baby. Thousands of outraged parents rally at state capitol over a hypersexualized K through 12 curriculum. Sexually explicit language unsuitable for radio is taught to elementary school children. Kindergarten books that introduce 5-year-olds to families with members who identify as lesbian, they say gay, but homosexual, bisexual, and transgender. 5-year-olds. They now have a T-shirt out the children wear to school that says 2 mommies are better than 1. First grade gender vocabulary lesson, words such as a third gender, trans, queer gender, non-binary, gender fluid, gender neutral, agender, bigender, and two spirits. This is in the first grade.
What happened to Dick and Jane and Spot?
Uh-huh.
Lessons for the first graders that provide detailed descriptions of sex with these quotes such as the man's penis goes into the woman's vagina, and sperm can swim out through the small opening of the man's penis and into the woman's vagina. This is in first grade. First grade.
6 years old.
Yeah. That was all about my mind, 6 years old. When y'all, but 6 years old, I just, Pictures in a book for third graders showing a cartoon drawing of a penis ejaculating sperm while inserted into the vagina. Lessons which teach third graders that sexual reproductive organs don't always match a person's gender. Recommendations that fifth graders are taught sexual health lessons that must include examples of same-sex sexual activity. Students should not be separated by sex during these lessons to avoid misgendering students. Books that introduce 10-year-olds to anal sex and the slang for male and female genitals. And I'm not going to go through the rest of this stuff because it ain't fit put on camera. Grade 5 was in stuff that you will not believe. But it has slang words for penises and testicles in the 5th grade. And
Is that not still pornography?
any parent that will put their child in a school like that is not fit to be called a parent.
No. They need aborted.
Taylor Swift donates $113,000 to the Tennessee LGBTQ advocacy group to fight slate of hate bills. Music superstar Taylor Swift said the efforts of Tennessee LGBTQ advocacy group to fight a handful of contentious bills moving inside the state's Republican-controlled General Assembly inspired her to make a sizable donation. Now, she looks like a great thing for young people watching.
She's trash.
She is trash. When you get a chance sometime, refresh your memory by reading 2 Kings 24:4, Revelation 18 about the finality of a nation that murders babies. All right? This is U.S. abortion deaths compared to U.S. war deaths. I'm not going to have time to go through all this. But with all the deaths in war, which is being, I had totaled up, I don't know, several 100,000 died in wars. Almost 100 trillion have been murdered by abortion.
Worldwide.
Worldwide. No. America.
Ooh.
No,
Yes.
Tree.
A billion.
Billion.
Did I say no?
You said
Million.
trillion.
Million. I'm sorry, million.
Yeah,
Forgive
that's
me.
my question.
Million. And actually, according to what I've read in other places, and Ernie Sanders sent me the information, he said any number they say, double it, because women get that all the time without reporting it. Okay? But I'm trying to work this, get it right here. One baby's killed every 30 seconds, 120 an hour, 2,899 a day, over 1.058 million a year. And that's only counting surgical and medical abortion, not counting other things. That's where and I got a picture of tools to do it with at the house. This is where they go in, the doctor's office, they rip it apart a piece at a time. That's why it's counting here. But on the pill that's called an aborticide, they started getting the pill out in 1965. And up through 2009, they know that there have been 610 million babies killed with aborticide. Not making it up. And the 10 leading causes of death in the United States, 2016, all races, both sexes. And this is hard to even fathom. Suicide moving up very quickly. In 10 to 14-year-olds, 436 people have been suicide they know of at that age. 15 to 24-year-olds, 5,723 that they know of. Let's see. 25 to 34, 7,366. 35 to 44, 7,030. 45 to 54, 6,437. 55 to 64, 7,759. And 65 and above, they don't have that number here, but it's going up every day too. 45,000 in 2016 killed themselves. There were only 19,300 murders. Think about that. 19,362 murders and 45,000 suicides.
Which is murder.
It is murder. It is murder.
Yeah, it is.
Joe, look up Proverbs chapter 8. Steve, look up Isaiah 28. And who else got a Bible? Lee, look up Hosea 10. I'm make this get all done here. Proverbs 8:36, Joe, what's it say?
8:36. But he that sinneth against me runneth his own soul. All they that hate me love death.
Does that kind of ring true with suicide then?
Yeah.
And murdering babies? Isaiah 28 verse 15. Steve, what's it say?
Because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death and with hell, are we in agreement when the overflowing scourge shall pass through? It shall not one come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood we have hid ourselves.
Did you hear that? Mm-hmm. They put their trust in hell and death, and we're safe from any kind of destruction. Does that sound like us today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Hosea 10:1 says what,
Oh, I
Lynn?
thought you said Isaiah.
Oh, I'm sorry, Hosea 10:1. Take your time.
Isaiah.
I mean, Americans have put their faith in everything but God.
Okay.
Hosea 10:1.
Isaiah 10:1. Israel is an empty vine. He bringeth forth fruit unto himself. According to the multitude of his fruit, he hath increased the altars. According to the goodness of his land, they have made godly images.
Does that sound like America? The more we prospered and the more we forgot God and become our own gods and made our own gods. Have we not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, isn't the Bible relevant for the day? Isn't it talking about us right now? We have, how many gods we got in America today, do you think, Phil?
Too many.
You need a calculator.
Yeah, you're right. Now, to give the way things are going in the country, we'll wrap it up here. Chase Bank shuts down alternative rate accounts. Not an alternative, alt-right accounts. If you are strongly conservative, Chase Bank will not do your business anymore.
What?
I wouldn't have wanted to do business with Chase Bank, period.
I was saying here.
And y'all remember Steve Anderson?
Yes.
Bank of America seized his accounts, church accounts,
Oh, my.
Why?
because he's so
Very
strong.
incorrect.
Yeah, he's so strong against Christianity. I mean, so strong against homosexual and things. They just shut his accounts down.
He's also non-501c3.
Yeah. And church membership down sharply in the past 2 decades. Now, folks, I'm not going to get all the details in this, but for the first time, people that have no religion outnumber Catholics and Protestants' religion. People that don't believe in any God at all, or no religion at all, now outnumber, we'll say, Christians in America. It's down, and over the last 2 decades, it says half Americans are church members, down from 70% in 1999. That's not been long ago. Most of the decline attributable to increased percentage with no religion. Membership has fallen 9 points among those who are religious. So our nation has lost 70% from 1999 that believed in God.
Maybe that's because they're upset with the doctrine of the church.
Well,
Yeah.
no doubt, because the church had no authority and no
Right.
power. I mean, why would a young person go to the church to live in the same thing, live in the world?
Yep.
When the church condones sin in its membership, what's different than going out to a bar? Except in the bar you can get drunk. Anyway, folks, that's it for the current events. We're going to take a break. Back in a little bit, we're going to do the Bible study and communion.